So my setup is quite unique, I think, really. And it helps because I'm a drum geek. I'm an absolute drum geek. So firstly, I started off with the minimal setups, overhead and kick. So when I was looking at getting the room all set, I got my perfect kick sound. So inside I've got a 901, which I love. It gives that real front end attack, almost like slap sound. And I've got a 902 outside, but it's not in the port, it's slightly outside. So it gives a little bit of front head, but it also gives the warmth. Both of those are perfect. So I've got my front end attack and I've got my mids and my low end with my 902. That for me is the perfect kick sound. So I've got both. I have U87s as overheads. Now, the way I have them set, and it's always like all my followers are going to burn me at the stake for them because they're set parallel, like facing, but they're set to omni, so they're sweeping. They're sweeping. Now I'm using in my cymbals that I'm using most of the time, they're not quite bright cymbals, they're quite dark cymbals like 602 Modern Essentials, Pice D, and they sound really warm. And what I don't want the attack of the cymbals. I just want warmth. So the U87 picks up all the warmth in the room with no spikes, which I absolutely love. So essentially, and with the U87s as well, they're picking up the snare and the hats and the gong drum, and nothing's being compressed. It's a pure sound. So sometimes, I mean, on the last album I recorded for a guy called Nico Sonev, he's an amazing guitarist. He wanted some real old school vintage stuff. So I took the 901 out. I had just 902 and the U87s. I had my perfect sound. I had all my toms, all the top end was there, and all the little bottom ends. So I had the whole setup on 3 mics, which was great. So anything else from that was a real bonus. So snare-wise, I'm obsessed with the 905. I love it for both my snares. I have 2 snares in the studio, a 14 and a 12 or a 13. Pure sound. I don't have to wind any EQ into it. It comes out flat. Really, really nice. And 8040s underneath. These give a really nice sparkle on the snares. Once again, such a pure sound. So that's my kick and my snares. Hi-hat is same again, 8040, and I have 2 ambients at the front of the kit as well, which pick up the low-end toms, and they're also picking up the gong drum. So that's what the kind of ambient sort of settings. I use 421s Mark II on the toms, and I don't have them gated. They let just enough in of cymbals to compromise the mix. I'm getting pureness from my 8-inch right the way through to 16 or even 20-inch gong drum. Picks up the low ends beautifully. 421s are kind of my go-tos really. And I've used them on kick drums. I've used them on like I say, on my gong drums. I'm getting an absolute pure sound. Snare-wise, 905 every day of the week. Kick-wise, for me, 902 covers all bases from the warmth. You can even get the attack off the 902. The 901 just adds that real bite. U87s just rock my world completely. I guess I don't really have a favorite. I have a go-to mic, but they're all perfect for the job that I need them to do for. Gates opened up, and Mike Rutherford from Genesis opened the door, and it was that moment. It's like, wow, this is really, really serious, and I've never done anything like this before, so I was completely underprepared. And it was led to believe it was some album demos. He was writing some songs for Celine Dion. And so I got my electrics. I just started working with Roland. So I had this octopad and all these drum sets, all this crazy stuff. It's Celine Dion, right? So I'm not going to need all this sort of stuff. And I just remember now, and it's always the story that I'll tell on drum festivals or clinics. I'm sat at Fisher Lane Farm where Genesis recorded all their stuff. I'm sat in the Phil Collins room, and I'm sat with all this stuff, playing drums for Celine Dion, thinking my world is going to change now. This is it. And playing this slow ballad at about 2 BPM as everything's really slow. And at the end of every 8 bars, I'm playing this ridiculous fill, thinking it's Mike Rutherford. I'm going to show Mike Rutherford that I should have been in Genesis, right? So I'm doing all this crazy stuff, and his face is like dead, like straight. And he's like, stop. You need to be more simple. I'm like, oh man, you're killing me here, doing all this kind of ridiculous stuff that was just completely inappropriate for the album. Anyway, I remember, and the session didn't go well at all. He was kind of done with me early on because I was playing for myself and not for the album. And so I've been doing all this crazy tom stuff. I didn't hit one tom on the session. I remember it was just this octopad, and I was just playing this thing like this, and the only fill I played was this. So I was playing along like 3 minutes of this, thinking I just want to play some crazy stuff, put double kicks in everything, do the Slayer thing, and all I did was the end of the phrase was this. I went dum dum ga dum dum ding And I'd done like 3 hours of chops. And yeah, I never heard from him again, which was really interesting. And I met him at some prog charity thing and he didn't remember, you know, it's just another drummer that's come in and just made a mess of it, you know. But from that day forward, it taught me a lot of things. It taught me about playing for the song, and irrespective if I play progressive rock or metal or stuff, you've still got to service the song. And you know, it goes down to engineering, it goes down to producing everything, get the basics right, and everything else hopefully should slot into place. And I've learned a lot. I've not learned my lesson yet, but I've still learned a lot. Yeah.